show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We wreck, will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the RAC from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC from the stash app.
Hello everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. I don't know what time of the day it is for you, but yes, you guessed it. I'm not Robo, and that's okay. But he will be here at some point, maybe to say hello. We'll see. But we have two awesome co-hosts. We have AmanDAO on the ones and twos. We got Cece coming up here. She just sent a request. I just accepted. And then we got our panelists who are slowly filing in. Right now we got Sunnyside here and Signal.
How's it going, Bbandz?
And who else? Please feel free to request if you are part of the panelist. And I'm trying to get Cece up here, but I'm not sure what's going on.
Hey, Bbandz, how are you doing?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
What's up, Bbandz? I'm trying to pull Cece up too, and it's not letting me. Oh, here we go. Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, Cece?
Hello. It's been a while. How are you, Bbandz? How are you, Amanda?
Doing well. Nice to talk to you. I'm excited for tonight.
Me too, as I didn't know that I was going to be hosting that until I was told. Anyways, I'm so glad everybody's here. I'm just trying to see if the rest of our guests will hop in. But, oh, there's Tradooors. Invite to speak. Let's get some other people up here.
I'm just going to throw out a disclaimer to everyone. I can only make this for half an hour, but I have got my amazing co-founder, Sean, here up in the Flight Force 4 profile pic. And when I drop out, he'll jump in. Or he might even talk to us the whole time. Who knows?
I like that. Let's get Jacob up here. Okay, well, real quick. How was ETH Denver, Amanda, while we're waiting for everybody to come in here?
It was fantastic. We had an amazing first 2 days at Interop Summit. That was the beginning of the week, and it was just packed with Cosmos people. We were kind of joking around saying it wasn't ETH Denver, it was Cosmos Denver. But yeah, it was incredible. ETH Denver was mind-blowingly massive, like get lost massive. But it was great. It was a great week. My throat is still recovering. I am like very exhausted, but it was like definitely a really great trip. I got to meet up with a bunch of like fellow RAC holders and fellow Adora squid holders. And oh my God, like just tons of people in the ecosystem, and had our fair share of Dance Dance Revolution. But it was really
Dance
awesome.
Revolution? Like he was playing the game for real?
We played Dance Dance Revolution with Ethan Frey. Like, I have pictures and videos. It was pretty awesome.
Is he good?
He is not. Neither am I, though. So I have no room to like even brag. But no, it was hilarious. We had a great time. Anyone that like is interested in crypto or just like community in general, definitely go there next year. Like it was my first time. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I was like I was a little jelly. Like, I'm like, I can't wait. I need to go to an NFT thing one of these days. So I was talking to my husband, and we'll see like X out like a vacation next year and do something like that.
Yo, listen, girl, middle of April 12th, NFT LA or NFT New York. So
I know, I'm thinking about it. I was looking at it and then I saw the price and I was like, oh, I don't know.
No, you don't go there. You sneak in and go to the after parties.
That sounds like more my spin. But anyways, hi Jacob. Welcome up. I see you just hopped in the space. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yep, can hear you
me?
perfectly. Doing pretty good. Haven't talked to you in a while. Seen you in spaces around, but we haven't gotten a chance to connect.
I know it's been a while.
So, panelist, is there any subjects that are going on in the, either greater ecosystem or maybe just the cosmos that maybe somebody would like to touch on today or this evening, this morning, or whatever time it is?
Bbandz. I feel like that's such a what's the word where it's like
question where it might end up into like a bloody war or something. Yeah, I mean it is RAC FM, and in the spirit of RAC FM, I was just trying to see if there were any subjects that people wanted to kind of touch on or bring up. What do you think, AmanDAO? Did I go too far?
That's perfect. No, it's perfect. Perfect.
I mean, right now, I would prefer to divert to someone else. I don't think divert's the right word, but if somebody else has something that they want to ask, I'm going to let them go first.
Why is that, Bonzi?
I feel like I'm just not going to... I'm going to dig myself my own grave up here, so that's why.
That's why you've got a Sunnyside Reaper as your project.
Oh, I know. It's very fitting. Yeah. Please, someone else go.
No. We're here for the drama. Don't let us down.
I mean, this is like a kamikaze space. It's all or nothing, guys. Okay, it's all or nothing. Just like...
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the easy one then. Everyone's thoughts on Prop 128 passing. That would be the one that reduced launchpad fees on Stargaze from 10% to 5%. And that's as like a question for everyone.
Yes, for the panelist.
I actually like that because all the other platform I know of, the platform fee is lower than 10%. So 5% should be the norm for the most part. And also that will also drive more creators to come into Stargaze. But that's just me. But I don't know why people think that the Stargaze, that will bring more fee to like the Stargaze validator nodes or like to developer in a sense. If there's no traffic, what's the point of having a high fee, like to launch? If there's high volume, there will be more fun coming in, But I just...
No, 100%. Like it, it's just more competitive. And, I was hoping I didn't have to like write a report on like the actual number breakdown, but that seems to be like the argument a lot of people in the space like to fall on are, what are the numbers? And I'm like, off the top of my head, I know that this is favorable, but instead I have to break down numbers that amount, to exactly what should just kind of be clear without the numbers. Tradooors?
I'm in favor of it. I think it's like a policy. I mean, the increasing the listing fee or whatever, the initial fee is good for reducing the spam proposals. But then, yeah, I think if a team, is able to raise, like, I guess the appropriate word would be like a higher market cap, they shouldn't pay more in fees for doing a good job marketing, building their community, and and having a product that people see as valuable. Like that shouldn't like mean that they owe validators, I guess, more. I guess I don't know if that's the right way to put that, but like if that's what the people are arguing, I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it could be tiered in some way based on like collection size or amount of data to use or anything like that. I'm not sure if that's possible, but yeah, I just think 10% is like a pretty steep fee, especially if Stargaze gets bigger, initial mint sizes get bigger, and the money that is being generated by teams, those fees, that really means a lot for teams.
No, definitely, dude. And like, I just kind of looked at it too, and I don't think like a lot of people knew where the fees were going. A lot of projects, and I mean big and small, had no idea that fee existed. They thought it only applied to featured. So like when I brought it up, people thought I was raising it to 5. I was like, no, dude, like you got charged 10%. And they're like, what? And so it almost like opened up like that, question that no one even knew. I was just like, do you not like look at, how many stars come in after a mint? Because like it's significant. But the fees don't pay for anything. They literally pay for nothing. And from a validator standpoint, with the average of, doesn't matter where you take it on the highest day, lowest day, as long as you ignore when the stars price was high, it is not revenue to the validators. It is probably less than a 0.5 difference in yearly revenue. And that's being generous. Like that's being overly generous for how much it would help them. Whereas like if you increase volume anyway, along with the Launchpad collection fee increase, that already made up a significant portion that was reduced by this cut in fees.
Yeah, I think it was kind of funny. Like as soon as people started talking about it, like you said, people didn't know about this. They didn't know where it was going. And then there was immediately like all this concern and like confusion, like a bunch of people thought it was like going directly to the devs, this kind of stuff. Like my take on Stargaze generally right now is that, when you put an NFT marketplace on top of like basic Cosmos tokenomics and like the incentive for staking versus the inflation, right? There's kind of like the interest of the marketplace and the interest of those securing the network aren't like completely aligned in a way, because the stars need to be kept liquid, right? And people need to like trade them for NFTs and so on, right? So why would you stake that much, right? Unless I guess you're staking a bunch and just kind of playing with the rewards you get or something like that. But it's still like a little bit different, right? And until we have kind of some other more robust solutions, like whether that's liquidity pools for NFTs or NFT staking and things, that will always be there a little bit. But like you said, so in that sense, there's a clear trade-off and like winner and loser in this between validators and projects. But if it's very clear that it's a tiny loss for validators and probably a significant win for projects, or at least a larger one, then you take that any day of the week, I think, because at this point, if the platform is able to maintain itself, it's stable and so on, then I think there should be a big priority on getting as much liquidity, as much volume in there as possible, making it as easy for projects of like any size to launch and so on. So I'm pretty happy with that being passed.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I
Bbandz.
just saw that EJ hopped in, and I didn't know if he wanted to chime in on the subject as well, or maybe he missed it. Hi, EJ.
Hey, what's up? Are you guys talking about 5% to 10% to 5%?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was actually the one who put up Bonzi, and I kind of talked about all that. And one day I was pretty upset about it because a lot of the founders I talked with had no clue. Stargaze basically took, 10% of your mint, and half of it just gets burned for no reason at all. It would have been even better if that 5% went directly to the team or to marketing or something, but straight burning it made no sense. So I reached out to quite a few founders, and like Bonzi said, we had no clue because the wording on Stargaze, and I know Bonzi's requested it, like it needed to be changed. It just didn't make any sense, and it still doesn't make sense. You can ask one person one thing, and a week later ask them the same thing, and they'll give you a different answer. And that's like last week we had the call with them. It was two different, and I was writing notes down, and I even told Bonzi after, and I think I told you, Bbandz, I don't remember, but I was like, they gave two different answers at two different times, and they ran around the question but never answered the question. And the answer to your question is that the dev fees and launch fees have nothing to do with each other. You're taking 10% from a collection and you're burning half of it for what? Because we could use that to pay our devs, pay our team in some way, shape, or form. So it was kind of weird, honestly, that there was pushback on it because everyone was thinking, well, that pushes devs away. Devs don't want to build. And I was like, that doesn't have anything to do with the devs. And here's another hot take for you, bud. Without creators, you don't need devs. So if everyone leaves tomorrow, as where we are today, because there's better incentives from other launch pads, you don't need devs because you won't have a launch pad anymore that you need to maintain. So I got pretty, Bbandz, and I think it was like supposed to be a 10-minute call. I think it lasts like an hour and a half. And then we put that proposal together. But I think it was good for creators. If people were rubbed wrong by it, I don't know why. But I only see it being positive for the creators that put their skin in the game, hours and hours and hours, and years of their own financial, we're putting a lot on the line and we're asking for 5%. I mean, come on. It's not like it's not like it's a long stretch. So that's my input on it. Obviously, since we're the ones who created it, I'm pretty one-sided on it. But it was interesting to see people's perspectives, to say the least. And one weird thing that I don't know why I'll just say it as it is because I don't really care. Stargaze doesn't ever, I would say, comment or get involved with governance, right? Or with proposals. For this specific one, it is the first one I ever saw them voice their opinion and get in the middle of it with pushback. Now, take that as you want, but you're supposed to be decentralized. So keep your mouth shut and don't say anything. That's it. This is between the creators and the community. And if you're decentralized, why are you saying anything? So that was very interesting to see some people from the Stargaze team voicing their opinions on that.
And this one too, I'm guessing you didn't see it. Shane actually did post a tweet after that was, he tried to keep it neutral, but said, essentially like, listen to the creators' concerns. So it wasn't on Commonwealth, but he tweeted that out after the voting went live, just for the flip side of that.
Good. Yeah, I didn't see that because, well, that's good. But once again, it's we won't go down that road of quote unquote decentralized. We'll leave that for a different topic. But yeah, that's my input on it. But obviously, I'm a creator. I've been through the roller coaster of ups and downs, and so yeah, I could talk about that all day. But that's my input.
Cece, do you? I know you have to go soon. Do you have anything that you'd like to add to this specific topic?
In all honesty, not really. I've been head down, bum up. So listening to the conversation right now has been just mind-blowing for me. I totally see EJ's perspective, and I don't understand why they're burning it because Stargaze is a small community. Why would they not put that towards marketing? Sorry, mind blown. And sorry that it's only the first time I've heard of it.
That's crazy.
So many things that they could use those funds for. I mean, fiat on-ramp is one. And this is something that blows my mind, is the complexity of getting any liquidity onto Cosmos for people outside Cosmos is just not worth the effort. And so straight off the bat, there's one hurdle, and then there's another hurdle just to get it on Stargaze. So why not? And even just be upfront and honest, I'm pretty sure just about everyone on Stargaze would be happy if there was a fee that went towards creating that on-ramp, because it's only going to benefit everyone down the track when that liquidity starts to come in freely and easily. And you actually start to see the rewards that the chain actually deserves in terms of the usability once people actually have liquidity on chain.
Okay. I have another one. Ready? Hot off the press. ICS 721. It's been said, It's riddled with bugs. I'm just reading off of like a little DM I got, so watch out now. What do you guys think about the ICS 721 contracts?
Can
you read what the proposal
Oh no,
is?
it's, you know how the ERC 721 contracts, and Stargaze was going to have theirs.
Yes.
So that's what I want to talk about. Let's get at it.
I guess I know nothing about this because I've had my head down. Is this something they're trying to build a 721 token?
Yeah, it's already built, but apparently it's. Does anybody know what's going on with the 721 and if it's riddled with bugs or all this, gossip that's going on? Like there's some.
Like, I guess what is it built for?
For Stargaze.
Interchain NFTs. Oh, sorry.
For what?
Like cross-chain NFTs.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard so much about cross-chain this, cross-chain that. Just I'll wait till somebody actually builds it. And then like we're building our own bridge to bridge everything away from Stargaze to Polygon and things like that. But it's not cross-chain where you can move it all. So I don't know what's been. Is that still with dang it, who was building Arc Protocol? That's who's building it. Is that the same people?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. I look at the cross-chain NFTs. Originally I thought they're not like a huge factor for me. I never was like super into it. The one benefit that I did see from it is that, and it helps more so the smaller and medium-sized creators, is that when you post a collection, you can have one collection with like 1,000 NFTs, and you can have the mint live on multiple chains. So you can now have it like on Stargaze, on OmniFlix, on Secret. If it works in the way that I saw it work on testnet, I think that can be a huge, relatively huge bump for smaller and medium-sized creators. I don't think it's a game changer for the largest creators. I don't really think it's going to affect the larger creators, and they probably will not really want to use it. That would be my take. So I think it helps out the small guys.
I think it could be a big deal. If everything goes as it's supposed to go, as I imagine it to be. Because I feel like for intention NFT, you'll be able to use DApp on other chain with NFT. So as of right now, Stargaze is not fully permissionless yet. Not yet, but in a sense. But you could use DApp on Juno with NFT. So that's pretty cool. Let's say in the future, you could use NFT from Stargaze in Osmosis, in Cosmos, in Neutron. So it doesn't have to be in one chain. So if that's possible, I think that's a big deal. Not just me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely can help open up avenues, right? Like, I don't think it can hurt anything. So you'll never know until we continue to build stuff that hasn't been built. So I'm just excited to see what it opens up. I don't want to say it's going to be one thing or not, but I think all it can do is make it better and more accessible to everybody. And I know that there's really good, just a genuinely good team behind the project that puts all their effort to it. So I would think it's going to go very smoothly when it happens.
So I had a kind of a question I think that's connected to both, because, like Stargaze struggles with volume, it's like 11,000 US volume each day or something. This is relatively small, but it's obviously the most successful within the ecosystem. So
I was going to say, that sounds nice right about now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Compared to being launched on Juno, my poor guy. Although a little bit more excitement about Juno these days with some new projects launching again, which is sweet, with idols and stuff, which hopefully that kind of benefits everybody. But I wanted to mention that, like, okay, if we're moving towards an interchain NFT kind of era, is what's the path forward? Are we focusing on, like, does Stargaze remain the center of that, or do we see liquidity and volume diffuse across all these other chains? You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone had thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think with if a chain does here's my thing. So the way that I look at it is just going to funnel all the volume to whatever the dominant marketplace is. Like, why would you disperse? That's what I don't get. Like, you could move your project to another chain and mint on a few, but like it's all going to end up on the same chain anyway. I think it helps with like visibility and minting out, but I don't think you're really going to see anything beyond that. Jake.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Stargaze add posts, so I think that should also help. So it really doesn't matter if you're minting on Juno. With Stargaze add posts, you could just still list. You could still list your NFT on Stargaze, even by launching your NFT on Juno. So that's pretty cool. So they could even do the add posts in some other chain, like in the Cosmos, like Osmosis, if they choose to, or something like that. So that's pretty cool.
So,
but I don't know when that would be a thing, though. That's the that's the point in thing.
Yeah, when is always the question, right? Like when. So I got another question. Many people say that they love Stash app on Secret, but it just doesn't get any volume. What could a marketplace like Stash do to drive users? And this is a robo question. I just want to let everybody know.
I mean, Stash, from what I've seen and used, the interface is beautiful. Using it, I think, is a pain. Like, I thought I lost my RAC. I was like, dude, where did it go? I couldn't figure out how to unveil my own NFT. Like, I think that is a major hurdle. I know people like privacy, but like from a UI experience, there was like 5-10 minutes where I was just like, dude, like it's gone. So I think that's a very big inherent problem of that platform.
Amanda, I saw you were off the... Oh, sorry. I thought it was Amanda next. My bad.
Oh, no. You're good. You're good, Bbandz.
Sorry, did you want to go, Amanda?
No, I was going to say, no, I didn't. Go ahead. I think I might have fat fingered it.
Okay. I was just going to echo what Sunnyside said. I like, how do you get more volume is just, I think, don't be on Secret. Because although I like Secret and I've done stuff with that platform in the past. And like, there's some developers I really, really respect there and stuff, but it's like, other than the fact that I think Secret had some kind of, I don't know if it's first mover advantage, but they were one of the platforms that was quite early with NFTs within IBC. You know, there's a lot of hype about them. Like, I don't know, was it 2 years ago now, I guess? And they had a few interesting things launching there, and even like some kind of high profile project launching using Secret. But yeah, I think for the average user, it's like, it's kind of a little complex. I wouldn't say actually complex, but it's just enough goes wrong that you don't necessarily feel like secure with what you're doing. And even like using it all the time myself, I'm always in this like state of panic where I'm like, did I just lose all my money? So, yeah.
I think if you took the UI from Stash and you put like the kind of like open tooling from Juno, and then Stargaze, like just the general like volume and name that it had, and put them together, like that would have been awesome. One of my biggest complaints about Cosmos is always that everything's fragmented. The fragmentation of the markets is like what hurts itself. People like decentralization, but you don't want 10, 20 markets like all in the same ecosystem that have a relatively similar user base. So that is kind of like my perspective. Maybe ICS does help with this, and it consolidates the users to one marketplace, which is bad for other marketplaces, but it would be good for the ecosystem overall.
Well, the thing about Stash is you can stash your NFTs from multiple chains. And I think the future forward for Stash is multi-chain or ecosystem. So I would be pretty excited about Stash. That's just me.
So I have a question. Do you think the fragmentation of the cosmos, the reason that this is happening is because of all the different chains, and that people can just spin up their own chain and just keep spinning their own chains, and they really don't essentially have to quote unquote like work together? I'm just asking that question. That thought just came into my head.
So I might kind of speak above my pay grade from a tech point, but if I remember right, the Cosmos is built on a modular system where you can plug and play, which is great for innovation, but it's also great for copycats to just kind of rehash the same chain over and over again with like slightly different, slight differences. So like, I think the biggest part of it is like, that's how Cosmos is built. It's built to create copycats, which creates that fragmentation. Again, might be speaking above my pay grade there on the tech side, though. It might not. I know it's not just that simple as copy paste, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer to that might be like just simpler than you think. It's just the bear market and the Cosmos ecosystem doesn't have that much TVL to begin with. So, because I remember during the bull market, you could sell any NFT on Cosmos. So as long as you launch, you would mint out. It's just what now in a bear market. So I feel like that might be the simpler answer to that. Yeah, so that's what I think. Because why not, if you were to launch a collection, even if you have a good idea and everything, you still struggle to sold out and stuff like that, depending on those factors.
I don't want to hog up all the space with my questions and stuff because I am getting DMs and stuff. But does anybody have any questions, or does AmanDAO, or do you want to ask the panelists anything before I go on to the next one? I'm guessing she's good. So my next question is, what does Bbandz think of the Stargaze performance upgrades? He has been very vocal about
Who
this.
sent that?
Robo, man, he is blowing up my thing. He's like, you be the host. But I was like, no, you could send me some stuff. This is his show,
Okay,
listen. I'm sorry.
I know.
Hold on. If you don't want to be on the spot, I can remove the spotlight from you and I can put it on Signal. Because there's another question here for Signal.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead, Bond.
Yeah. So the performance upgrades, right? We all know that the website has been less than stellar. With like the way that it's going, and this is the part, and I've told them this before. So the way that everything is interconnected is that I think the average website, it's usually just pulling data. I think the way that Stargaze is set up is that there's like a GraphQL, there's a front end, a back end, and there's like 4 parts moving together. This is kind of, again, above my pay grade. So it all is happening in real time. And sometimes when one team updates something, that can break something for the other team, even though after they test it on their end, it was fine. So I think that's where a lot of the issues come from. And then earlier this week, one of the major hosting servers had a network outage. So that one was relatively outside of Stargaze's control and caused a lot of the issues. It's a constant work in progress. I can't give you, anything super concrete more than that. So yeah.
I got a question to that. Are they ever going to get the API fixed? Do you know?
So the API, I see the questions in the build channel. I'm not a part of that developer group. I can't give anything like concrete on it. The API is where it just like, the issue is that sometimes like you can't reach it, right? Or it doesn't take in what you send it. Does that sound roughly right?
Yeah. So like when we built our own DApp, and for instance, some people when they burn their spaceships, you have your endpoints, And with the API that Stargaze provides, it's kind of like having internet that drops out all the time, and it just isn't. It's not enjoyable. So I just hope they can get it fixed. And I just figured I'd ask you. I didn't know if you had any updates on that. I knew they were talking about it, but I'm curious. I'm sure that's on the high priority list. If it's not, it should be number one, because you know how it is. The UI and the user friendliness of the website is the most important. Nothing's worse than minting and then going to trying to access your profile and you can't access anything. So we'll see what happens, but I appreciate the honest answer.
Yeah. The tech stuff is not my specialty. I had a call with Shane today, and I think we're going to push through a lot of changes this week. But for the tech ones themselves, those ones I'm going to be less knowledgeable on.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Can I comment on that? I was just curious. I know that like objectively, it's like the most important thing is the user experience, but I was wondering if anyone else just like doesn't care about it that much. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but I find like if I feel like in this space, I'm so used to like loading up a wallet and half the stuff isn't there, and I'm just like, oh, close it and find it later. You know what I mean? Like as if you have like a messy desk, or like you just like toss something in a drawer and you dig around, you can't find it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just conditioned to that, but like personally,
I wish that's how it was. But we have. I mean, if it goes down for one, dude, it goes down for 1 minute, and you have people in the chat that are just exploding, and I'm like, I promise your NFTs aren't gone, guys. Like, just relax. I wish it was like that, but reality, most users are not like that, unfortunately.
I'm just a sucker then, I guess.
Yeah, no, like, I'm with you, Signal, but it's only because like this is what I know. I wasn't into like the NFT space like before that, and you know I've seen enough like errors and slowdowns where like it doesn't bother me. But like if a new user comes in and they're used to OpenSea where it just pops up right away, that person is going to ask 9 times out of 10 like, hey, what's going on? It's been 5 minutes. I just spent $50-$60. I don't have anything to show for it. So I think it's part of it just being blunted to becoming the norm.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. I mean, like I said, like objectively, that's very important.
Yeah, like to play off that real quick is the biggest thing is how do you bring in new liquidity? You bring someone into Stargaze. First off, you somehow get them to understand how to get stars, right? Through the 18-step process. And then they get their stars, and then they get to mint, and they buy NFTs. And then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's a coin flip. The site might load, it might not load, but don't worry. So that's kind of like why we say to push it. You can't focus on bringing in a lot of liquidity when you don't even have a site that can support it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like as a new user coming in, if you just bought 5K of stars or whatever, even 500, and you come and buy all these NFTs you're excited about, and you're like, oh shoot, I can't even access them. That's just the first. And you don't ever forget your first impression, right? And the first impression is negative, and we just don't want that. It's kind of like wasted energy if we start bringing in liquidity, whatever that answer is, and then we don't have the website to support it.
Awesome. And I have a question that Robo just really, really wants me to ask Signal. He is kindly bossing me around in the DMs, and I don't mind. I'm here for it. Okay, so check it out. Here he says, you've probably got the smallest niche collection of the panelists. What are the trade-offs with the small collections? Less working capital for developments versus more exclusive aspect to the NFT and a really engaged community?
Yeah, I guess like, well, you limit the amount of people that can hold it. So your community has to be smaller, more or less. I think you get more interactions with people that are like, oh yeah, that's neat what you're doing, and that's kind of the extent of it. You know what I mean? So I guess, yeah, is that like a trade-off? I don't know if what we're doing has like a real upside necessarily. We're only doing it because we like just enjoy doing it. Which I guess you could say that's an upside. That's probably a pretty depressing thing to say, that it's not an upside to enjoy something. But like I think probably like Maria is with Women from Cosmos is like an excellent example of doing like really limited collections and having a lot of success with that. And so it probably comes down to your vision and how you execute, right? Even if you do have like, I don't know, hypothetical upside to a more limited collection, if you don't execute properly, you'll just kind of blow it. So I don't know if that's a non-answer or not, but from my perspective, yeah. It's just for us, it's like with what we were trying to do, there's just, as of yet, we do have some things in the works. There just isn't. We're trying to build towards a large collection and slowly get bigger and bigger, rather than start with a large one. So it's not necessarily excluding that. It's just like, where do you start from?
Well, right. You want to like differentiate yourselves, and it just kind of depends on how you want to do it. So Cosmos DeFi, he actually asked me earlier, he's like, are there any plans for future benefits of the NFTs that we have right now? And I told him, I was like, no, we have over 15,000 NFTs in circulation or close to it. They make you eligible for the airdrop in game, and then some of them go to a revenue sharing DAO. There's no way we could tell people, oh yeah, every holder of our 15,000 NFTs is going to see a benefit. It'd just be a lie. Like, that is just not feasible. And then with Cemetery, we reset it, where now Cemetery is what is going to accrue value. And, another common one you see is projects start out large and then they incentivize burning or, swapping. Like, that's the other side. So a lot of the projects that start out large, they do the opposite and then try to bring the collection size down. If everyone does the same, you're just going to get left in the dust. So people come up with, they try to find a way to make themselves different as a creator.
And Bonzi, I wanted to say also, didn't you just release like a very limited collection, the Eternal Reapers?
Correct.
Yeah.
And those, yep.
I was gonna say, like, it's like you kind of end up doing that at one point, regardless. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you alternate in a way between doing, maybe some people will, between doing like larger or more limited.
Right. And, it's like one of the other things too, especially like in the NFT space, everything's built off of hype, right? And you see like a lot of projects kind of trap themselves in a corner because a lot of them fear losing engagement, where they have to keep doing something. There has to be something to keep people engaged. I think when poker tournaments became popular in the space, I told Tin and King, I was like, all right, guys, we're not fighting for engagement anymore. Let's just, build our game and we'll have updates. Because like our team, we lose the engagement fight every time. We're not going to host 4-hour poker games. We're not going to, have all these things that people can be engaged in because we're just 3 dudes. So like, I don't know, it's just like people want to do more and more. And so, one of the things we can do is mix it up and make that like a very exclusive collection that shows up to our players in the game. And then they get airdrops that no one else gets.
Yeah, that's cool. And then I think the other thing I was going to mention, I guess, is it depends on like how much is your collection like utility driven or like economics or financial driven versus art driven. You know what I mean? Like if you had a specific artistic vision, you just execute that, and it doesn't matter. You probably don't think as much about should this be 100 pieces or 1,000 pieces or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like that factors into it as well, I think. And that obviously, if you're doing something that's more like art based, that could be larger or smaller. But I don't know. I think it really depends on your project goals. And then again, I think it's something that all projects will probably fluctuate on over time.
Okay. So your host Robo has another question. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just reading Robo's questions. So I said Robo was the host, but I was hosting. My bad. So he has a really good question, and he says he has a double question from the RAC FM GC. There seems to be a lot of people conflicted between Stargaze SG and Juno, because one is the top NFT MP, and the other has the best DAO tooling. Are Outpost the answer to this? And also, do they think interchain NFTs will have any positive effect on permissionless chains like Juno or Wawa?
My take on this would be that Juno has like the permissionless contracts. So what you could see is if the Cosmos NFT space does grow, you could see if large successful projects started off on Stargaze, because that would be the one that if they knew nothing of the Cosmos, they'll get attracted there first. That's just how it will go. In the long term, if they want that open contract, then you could see movement towards Juno. The DAO tooling itself, I'm not a DAO guy generally. We're doing one, but like in general, I'm not a big fan of like what Muse and Aqua both rugged or got pulled or whatever. Like it's just too early, and DAOs, in my opinion, again, not super involved, but my understanding is you can just buy them and then it just becomes one person controlling it. Prop 16. Jake Hartnell, I talked to him last night with some of his ideas for Juno 2.0 and DAO improvements. I loved his ideas. It was the first time I've ever said anything positive about Juno, I'll be honest. So I want to see how that plays out. Right now, DAOs as is, I think they're very broken unless they're like solely community driven. Like you have to be very careful about monitoring who has control of them. Because right now, if your DAO is worth $10,000, a guy with 5,001, and assume no price change, can just buy it and then control it. And he can do it from 20 wallets. It's not always just going to be you seeing one wallet slowly take over the network. It can come from anywhere. And I think that's the biggest problem with DAOs right now, is that they're so vulnerable to being rugged. Sean, you've been kind of quiet. I'm not sure if you were available to chat.
On DAOs? Or I actually was kind of more interested in the topic before that, just with NFTs and whether they're, the collection size, whether it's an art-based one, whether it's utility-based. But no, I can try and chip in on this topic if you want. What would you? I know Bonzi was just talking about DAOs. I don't really know enough about Juno, to be honest. Spent most of our early time, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, but we actually were meant to start this project as a DAO and moved away from that model. Well, that was mostly due to Terra collapsing, but also because, like Bonzi said, they're so hard to get right. You're going to have huge control issues, and it doesn't take many to get upset, but then it also doesn't take many to take over. So you've got quite a few problems. And what is the overall benefit? We're yet to see a DAO change the world. Yes, it may happen. Eventually they'll get it right. There is a use for them, but I think the structure and the way that they operate is a long way off being perfected. It's a good technology, but yeah, that's kind of my 5 cents on that topic.
But the topic, you said you wanted to chime in on the topic before? with the small collections?
No, sorry, it was just more what I forget who was speaking, but just talking about the way that NFTs are all going to be, interchangeable on any chain, and that's our goal. Obviously, with Flight Force 4, that's the whole point why we've minted cross-chain. But every NFT collection at the moment has, its niche, like you were saying, whether it's a small collection and it's art-based, whether it's highly utility-driven. But either way, going forward, the things that we do know is everything is going to be, cross-chain, swappable, can go anywhere with it, and it's essentially just a piece of you, as long as you've got a wallet that can connect to a website or a DApp or whatever it is, as long as it can recognize the NFT that's in your wallet. That's the main thing, and that just gives you access basically to something else. But for us, and you could break that down in many ways. There's art, and I think there's a lot of music NFTs coming out as well, where the actual projects behind those NFTs are kind of giving away royalties from say you're an artist and you create your own NFT collection. The people that own those NFTs now get like a percentage of revenue, whether it's revenue or whether it's royalties. The wording will become clearer once regulations are cleared up. But I think it's interesting seeing it all develop. And I don't mean to take everyone back off topic to where we were, but I think every NFT is going to have a use case, whether it is a revenue, whether it's a utility, whether it's a revenue share. It's going to be cross-chain, and those are the things that have to be thought out with, things like Stargaze, Juno, all of, basically anyone can create something and put you out of business if they get it right. And so that's why I think Stargaze needs to keep building what they've got. It was only months ago where people were loving it, but there's been a few things pop up. I think it's the same around all of the chains. Like I said, I don't know enough about Juno, but Bonzi just then said that was the first thing he said that's been, first positive thing he said about Juno. So I have seen a bit going around. I don't want to get into anything that I don't really know enough about, though.
Well, you know what? You should play with it. Check it out. See what's going on. Check, like you can join the corporation, which, those, you see those PFPs everyone has that are AI, or you can join the blue DAO or the purple DAO, because they're playing these games and everyone's just kind of figuring out how to use them. I mean, if you want some, I can send you some blue tokens and you can join the blue DAO. I just want to try to get as many wallets on the blue DAO as I can. That's kind of my goal right now.
I wish I had the stuff like that. I used to play with all the protocols. I used to have the time to do that. But honestly, right now, unless it sort of directly benefits something we're doing with the project, I have to prioritize time. The main thing for us, obviously, was, we know how Cosmos works, and the main thing for us was launching a collection that, even if Stargaze wasn't around, 2 months from now, there's always going to be somewhere we can go with these NFTs on Cosmos. And I think that's the good thing, but again, it goes back to what I was saying before, is that if you don't get it right, someone else will come along and do it better. And that is only a matter of time. We're in a bear market. People are sort of either hunkering down and building what they were already on, or they're coming up with something brand new that, they're going to release when the timing's right. But for us, the main thing is having that the NFT on Cosmos, but we're open to going where the best solution is. It's a very simple system we need. It's exactly log into our game, and if your wallet the game reads that you've got one of our NFTs, you get access to that in the game and a bunch of other things. So our side of things is quite simple. There's no DeFi involved or anything like that. But I would love to go and play with all these protocols and get involved. It's fascinating. utilizing this stuff. And then, you get the additional things like airdrops and stuff for using dApps.
Yeah, it's fun to play. I like kind of tinkering with things. I might like tinker with it a little bit. I don't know how long I stay involved, but that's the truth. Jacob, you had your hand up, and Signal, you have your hand up. So we can hit Jacob first, and then we'll go to Signal. And I see EJ's waving goodbye. Bye, EJ. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Oh, EJ gotta go.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna hop off. My wife says we got some things to do before it's too late, so gotta run to the grocery store. But I appreciate your time, everyone here. Amazing minds. If you guys have questions, just hit any of these people up. They're just amazing. And thank you guys again for everything. And Bbandz, great job. So I will talk to you guys later. See ya.
See you.
See you, EJ.
See you, man. No, I was about to say, so for that aspect, like Bunzi said, we're still in the early stage of DAO in Juno, so there's still things that need to be planned out, like all the things that could go wrong need to go wrong first before DAO in Juno could be fully set. But I love DAO. That's like, I've been fascinated on one DAO. I know since I've been in crypto for the most part. Even like for me, like for a collection, it's also kind of like I have a DAO aspect into it too in Juno. But I would say like at this stage, I would say people should, like you said, Bbandz, people should still try to play around with it, because the earlier we find the bug, the earlier on we can find the fine tune for the DAO, the better it would be for at least DAO and crypto in general. Because I would really love to see DAO go mainstream, because the DAO tuning on Juno, they are actually pretty new in a sense, because they're not anywhere else in any other crypto ecosystem. So if you are looking into DAO, I will actually recommend it to look into it. Try to find out what you can do, what you can learn from it, because there's a lot of things they are building, and they're shipping really fast too. So it's exciting. I like every day, like when I go on Discord and I like trying to like look what's going on, what's new. Like in the data Discord, they're always working on something cool too. So I don't think people should take like the other way around and be like, oh, I'm not gonna get involved in DAO. I would say try to get involved and help other projects building DAO and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what I have.
Thanks, Jacob. Thank you. And Signal, I see you got your hand up, very patiently waiting.
Yeah, thank you, Bbandz. Yeah, I think like there's been a ton of discussion about this, like in the DAO Discord, and Jacob and I have shared some thoughts over the last few weeks as well, because obviously like security is a huge question. Like the first thing I want to say is like obviously like Aqua, they failed because they didn't operate as a DAO, and they had all their tokens like not in the DAO and left their treasury wide open. It's like an extremely sort of at best amateur mistake. And then when it comes to Muse, I believe their rug was because they controlled the majority of the tokens. So like neither of these things are necessarily like ideal DAOs in structure. But I mean, I think there's like three ways to have your DAO secured right now. Is like either centralize it a bunch, which is what Signal is. We've called ourselves, like we said, we're like a dictatorship since we started. We're trying to slowly decentralize, but like we control the majority of voting power in our DAO with our token, and we've done so like safely. But what that is not necessarily dissolving risk entirely. It's just transferring risk, because what it means is that there's a risk to our community that we would attack them, right? But there's less risk to like the token generally speaking, because we're we keep things safe, and like we you know what I mean, we have good intentions, and we intend to like enact a certain project. But that's the challenge, right? So one is like, okay, you centralize it. The other one is like you decentralize it, but that's not really a good DAO. And the other one is like you decentralize it so much that it doesn't work. and then you probably won't be attacked because like your DAO just isn't working and no one's engaging with it. And then the other one is if it's like totally worthless, then probably no one will attack it, right? So it's like the challenge, like the big risk is when you're in this middle ground of like increasing value, and the value that's either in the treasury or elsewhere in your DAO is incongruent with the security. So how many people are staked to the DAO and this sort of thing. And when you have control of the supply of yourself, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background, but he's meowing.
I mean, it's super feisty out there. I was like,
yeah,
is the kitty in heat? I mean, no,
he's right? He's a big Maine Coon boy. He's a very vocal cat. He's on the other side of a door right now.
He just wants to cuddle.
He does. But what I wanted to say there was that, if it's like centralized and you control the supply, let's say with tokens, you can manage security by just looking at like the ratios of liquid versus staked versus like bonded otherwise, like in liquidity pools and things like that. And you can kind of assess the risk, right? Like how much risk are you exposed to the potential of someone buying the DAO? Because like if there's less open supply in the market, then of course they can't buy your DAO. They simply won't be able to buy enough to outvote you, right? But what's really interesting, sorry, I've taken a long time to get to this point, is that I think for NFTs, it's this big question that Jacob is bringing up. I hope he can speak to it a little more, where token-based DAOs, the amount you buy, financially is directly proportionate to how valuable your vote is, right? You have $5, you stake $5, you get $5 worth of vote. But for NFTs, it's one NFT is one vote, right? But these NFTs may cost a different amount of money on the open market. So it's I think it'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays between like NFT DAOs and the NFT marketplace. Because it's like, okay, I bought this, the $1,000 rarest NFT, but I stake it to the DAO and it's worth the same vote as someone who bought like the lowest $10 NFT, right? So there's like an attack vector there where people could potentially be sweeping the floor to try to take control. And also value-wise, it might be something that has like an equalizing effect in terms of the utility of them.
Yeah, that was like one of my major concerns of like NFT based. That's like, let's say the floor of the NFT go down, someone could just sweep the floor and just go on DAO and stake and take all the governance aspect. But the good thing with that is just for NFT based DAO, if let's say for a second, 40% of the supply is stake, you will need technically 30 to 20% of the supply to overthrow the DAO. But in general, you won't see 20% of the supply in the market. So that also leave you with a safety net. But it's just a matter of you don't know the future. You don't know what can happen. There's always a vector they can attack you in the DAO. So it's like you never know the full answer to what's gonna happen next. You can just try your best to burn the DAO as secure as possible. Because even for blockchain, let's say for Juno, you could just buy 51% of the supply and still attack Juno and take over governance that way. So it's still the same problem that we're running into with DAO, I mean in general. So there's no clear answer to how to fix that aspect, but like by decentralize the collection, like make it like having like a broader community aspect into it, and like if you don't have like a active community trading your NFTs, the DAO will be taken over easily too. So it's just a matter of like how do you get community active and like make everything go smoothly. So that's why I've been battling with like I launched my collection, but there's a DAO aspect. But how do you get community to interact with it and like make it secure as much as possible? Yeah, but I would like to, I don't know, maybe we should go to somewhere else, some other topic, but that's just it.
Well, one other thing I just wanted to jump on the DAO topic. I think one of the other things that'll be really interesting, like if the vision of Cosmos is to have another, couple hundred chains, all with their own governance, and then you have, a bunch of like DAOs or different projects, like NFT projects and smaller projects. Like, at what point do we just have too much governance going on? Like, people are already exhausted of the level of governance involvement that's going on now. So it's like, how are we going to streamline that and keep people engaged in good governance moving forward when, how many of us are involved in or maybe not involved, how many of us own like 10, 15, 20 different NFT projects and have been airdropped, 20 to 30 different Cosmos tokens in the last few years? And like now we're tracking for our own interest, like that many different things going on.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like the other guy to answer to Trader. That would be great because I've been thinking about that too. If Sunny, I don't know, Fly Force or Signal, you guys have any answer to Trader question? That'd be great.
What's the?
Sorry, I've been wrestling a cat. Sorry.
Yeah, what's the question again?
Hey, we are actually heading into the hour. Actually, we passed the hour, so I just wanted to like try to wrap it up. Is there well, okay, wait, Robo is not going to let me wrap it up. Whoa. Sir Robo, if you would like to come and co-host, that's fine. Where are you, Robo, if you want to come up here? Do you guys want to keep going before I invite Robo up?
I don't have much on DAOs. I think I said everything that I had on them anyway.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get 1 second, please. Sir Robo is entering the room, so he's not done with you guys yet. Okay.
Hey, Bbandz, thank you so much for hosting. You did a great job before you can't get a word in edgewise here.
Hey, listen, I've only done what the master of ceremonies has asked of me, and I just read them off. But thank you very much, Signal, and thank you for letting me be a host and trusting me with the keys to your Twitter.
Absolutely fantastic, darling. I'm so proud of you. And when my voice is a bit ropey like this, we need the professionals like you in, yeah. But wow, so proud of you, Bbandz. Thank you so much, right? Because this is your first one, and Bruce did his first one last night, and both of them have been like banging shows. So yeah, thank you very, very much, darling. And I know you were getting a little bit tired, so don't worry. Because it's Pepe that I want to find out about this situation with the what he thinks about Stargaze. Because obviously Pepe is on Juno. And it's Juno has got literally the best DAO tool, and I think in the entire crypto industry, not just IBC. Like DAO is by far and away the greatest thing I've ever seen. Plus I think the vesting payroll, the payroll vesting contracts, the state contracts, I think they went to audit on the 28th. So they should be out like really, really soon. Pepe, we know Stargaze is the top marketplace. We know Juno is the top place for DAOs. Where are we going to get this combination, Pepe? So is a Stargaze outpost on Juno the idea, the best solution, or is a Juno outpost on Stargaze the key? What do you think, Pepe, on that?
Well, I saw somebody throw something up. I think it was on Commonwealth about basically cloning the DAO repository and then launching it on Stargaze, essentially like adapting it to Stargaze. I don't think it was somebody from the DAO team. I think it was the guy from Pegasus, but I might be wrong on that. Bonzi probably knows better than me. So yeah, I think there's multiple different vectors which we could, get to the same place. It's like whether it's a outpost on Juno, which I would be really excited about for basically getting NFT DAOs going, or if somebody were to launch a DAO kind of copy over on Stargaze by going through governance. I think there's a couple different approaches we could go to get there. And I know the Stargaze team has like mentioned that they're also working on their own DAO tooling.
Pepe, let's say that you had the ability to move your collection to Stargaze tomorrow and still have like that DAO tooling to be able to use with your community. Would you, and obviously with a cross-chain NFT, you'd have the ability. If you could do that tomorrow, would you? If you could move?
I think I would have to consult a little bit on that and really think through it. I mean, like one of the nice parts about Juno for us is that it is permissionless. I'm looking forward to the oracles being there. There's some other functionality that's been nice to have. So it's kind of a trade-off for that. I think we'd have to just structure things really differently. And I don't have a good vision for what that would look like right now.
Well, Pepe, we also had that, and very quickly, guys, we'll get this in. We also had like the kind of second part of the question. It wasn't even my question, even though Bbandz has been like, no, these are Robbo's questions. They've been coming from the group chat, just I've been chatting with her one-on-one. Let me just get it up here. Right. Cross-chain NFTs. Pepe, before we ask the other guys, do you think cross-chain NFTs will be more advantageous to like the public permissionless chains, likes of Juno and Huahua? Do you think they're going to give the permissionless chains a bit of an edge or not?
I guess in a way, I think the benefits are going to flow back and forth. It'll be balanced. Like I think for holders and like community members, they're going to be able to move their NFTs to where they feel like they have appeal, or the liquidity and the prices is what they want it to be, and it'll kind of allow them to like maybe even arbitrage a little bit, so creating new opportunities there. On the flip side of it, for teams, they can launch their NFT wherever they want, and then they can launch, whatever utility or functionality or whatever that they also are trying to build, where they want, and they can pair the two up without, having to pick. Like, sorry, I'm gonna speak truthfully here, without having to pick like a shit low volume chain for NFT volume like Juno to launch their NFTs on, just because they want to launch their application there, aka me.
Any comments on that, Bonzi? Any comments? Because I'm going to go to Sean about the permissionless side in a minute. Jacob, Bonzi, Signal?
For that aspect, nothing really to add.
Signal, what about permissionless versus obviously like something like semi-permissioned like Stargaze? You think cross-chain NFTs are going to be bullish for permissionless chains?
Sorry, I was actually taking a quick trip to the bathroom, so I missed that one. I'll have to think on it for a moment.
That's all right. I mean, guys, stop me if I'm wrong, right? But like with Stargaze, it's like semi-permissioned, i.e. you have to go through governance, right? It's not like the full like KYC thing that you have to do with those closed chains, right? Like in the future, if we've got cross-chain NFTs, this is what I was thinking about, right? What would happen if like you mint on Juno and then you kind of immediately want to send your collection like to list it on Stargaze once you've minted out, right? Like with cross-chain NFTs, is that something you're going to be able to do? Or to get the cross-chain NFTs over to Stargaze, would you still have to go through that like governance or permissioned process? I'm a little bit lost with that. Like, does anyone in the room have an idea or an update on how this is going to work?
I think for NFTs themselves, like they could just move. I think that contract, I doubt it would work without, getting approved on the other side. So I don't think it'll be an issue for like NFTs transferring. I don't think you'll have to deal with governance or anything. But like if you were bringing something that had a custom contract built for it, and then you wanted to move it to a permissioned spot, then you would probably have to take that under consideration.
Right, okay, because I was thinking, if you've like, you're talking about the mint fees that the developers might have to pay, and I'm thinking, well, if you could like circumvent loads of these like things that you've got going on Stargaze, if you can circumvent them on like say like a Juno minting platform, right? or a Juno minter, and then send them over to Stargaze. Like, why would anybody be kind of minting on Stargaze if you could kind of like just circumvent and go around the corner? Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is going to be how user friendly is it to do interchain NFTs? Like, it's kind of like the same idea of just like, oh, there can be like a million things possible and they can all be done today. But now let's say they can all be done on the command line only and there's no user interface. Well, no one's going to really care, right? So like if ICS interchain NFTs exist, but it's not user friendly, no one's going to care. That's like my hard take on that.
Good point. Good point. Any comments, guys, on that before I go to see what Sean's got to say? I'm going to get more Sean in here.
If I had one more, I think that insofar as like we're still a long way from seeing true utility built into NFTs, we won't really be able to see how different chains can use them more effectively yet, right? So for that reason, I think it's just like too early for interchain NFTs to be that exciting. You know what I mean? Like if you had like IBC come in really early and then all these chains are all these just like basic Cosmos SDK chains are just kind of like copies of one another doing the same thing, then it's like, okay, it's not that interesting to trade between them, right? But down the road, if we do see NFT based chains or chains that use NFTs in very interesting ways, then maybe it'll have more use case. But for now, it's like, I don't know.
Any comments there, Jacob? Anything before we wind it up?
I would say for me, for interchain NFT, like Signal said, we don't really know what's the future would be like, because you still need, you don't even know like the unknown for like interchain NFT. You don't know if it would be fully functioning the same way as IBC functioning for token. But if everything goes as planned, it should be amazing. If you could send NFT between chain and launch that from Juno to Stargaze with interchain account, and like having like a host chain controlling the NFT from Juno to do stuff on Stargaze. So that would bring a lot of excitement, like to people building more dApp and stuff. But it's just a matter of when will it launch and when we will be able to use it and do other things. But it should be pretty exciting. I feel like everybody should be excited about it. Just a matter of will it be the same thing as we think it is, you know? Because sometimes you can think, oh, this would be amazing, all this thing would be amazing, but when they finally launch, you're like, no, that's not what I expected. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I've been dreaming of that thing to come to pass, and the day finally come to be, you're like, boom. But if everything goes as planned, should be amazing. I'm telling everybody, it should be amazing. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Hello?
I think Robo might have rugged.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh,
Okay.
I think I did the double mute thing, you know. Sasha, we can see your requesting, dude. The NFT is normally a closed mic, but we'll try and make time for questions, Sasha, a little bit there when we've just cleared a few things up. So, Sean, the question was, interchain NFTs, are you involved? Have you had anything to do with them? Do you know anything, how it's going? And Juno, have you been into like permissionless stuff before? Have you looked over on Juno? Or is it a chain you've never looked at? So a two-part question for you.
That's for me.
Yeah, first up, I mean, sort of interchain NFTs, right? Cross-chain NFTs. Are you involved? Have you tested out the CLI? Are you?
In terms of IBC, no. I think that kind of touched on it earlier. In terms of what we need from NFTs is pretty basic. It is just if you own the NFT, you can log into the game. It recognizes you've got X NFT, which is tied to a 3D asset, or it could be any type of asset, basically, that could be used in the game for us. And this is obviously specifically with Flight Force 4 being a game. We have a set of use cases for our NFTs, and they range from obviously the game, but also into cross-platform things. So I think this is kind of maybe a little bit more on topic, where what can we use our NFTs for outside of our game? And like Bonzi was saying earlier, with if it's a very simple request on the chain, then I don't think it really matters if it's permissioned or not. The way I like to think of it is, if we're setting something up with our game to be cross NFT, like it could be on AVAX, it could be on Cosmos, it could be Ethereum, whatever. Our game can read it. So imagine, I think the best analogy is that it's a read only. Imagine you've got a bunch of glass cups, and inside the first cup is the actual NFT, and then you chuck another, that cup inside another cup. You can still see the NFT, but you can't access it. And maybe if, like Bonzi was saying, it has like a smart contract attached to it, that's a problem. But if it's something where all it's doing is retrieving data, as in like the actual token ID, because that token ID might be attached to some kind of other data that you've already coded into the original contract, it doesn't need to go and grab that. So all it needs is that token ID, and now you've got access to this or that. That may be not explained perfectly well, but basically.
No, Sean, I think I get it. Basically, though, stop me if I'm wrong. The only thing essentially for you guys that's actually on chain is the actual NFT. Everything to do with the game and everything's all like off chain, and it just accesses the NFT data through like an interface or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And that's not going to be the same for everyone. And that may not be the same for us forever either. We may need, and we may want to, expand on the uses. But for now, like for example, you may have one of our NFTs on Stargaze, the Serum Defenders, and we've got a lot of partnerships coming up to integrate into other platforms outside of our game. And so they'll have the same system set up where you'll just connect your wallet, and they've coded it on their end, or whether it's just a database that we've given them, and it interacts with their platform. Now you can use that same NFT to access a completely different character even, because that's how that contract looks, but it's still the same connection for you, whether you're connecting your Kepler wallet or Leap wallet with your Defender NFT inside it. You're now able to access, let's say, a game wherever we launched initially. Maybe let's just say, for example, it is Cosmos, or no, let's say Ethereum, and then the other platform is on AVAX. This is going to be the same process, and the way that it retrieves the data is exactly the same. But if we were to say, I don't know, maybe there's a staking contract that NFT was already in. Now you're talking about those glasses that I was mentioning. You can't see them, you can't access them. The contract can't see it anymore. There's something else in the way that physically needs to be removed, or it needs to be native and on chain. But yeah, like you said, pretty much all the data that's attached to our NFTs is all off chain. It's going to be retrieving things like 3D models, which will be built into a server, and it's just calling that data. Well,
yours is the classic use case, isn't it, for NFTs, which was like originally proof of ownership, right? Yours is like the classic case, isn't it? The proof of ownership to get right to the game, yeah?
I think so, yeah. I mean, to us, it's just an access card, and it doesn't matter what's on it. But there are other NFTs that have a lot more data attached to it, and they're involved in smart contracts. I mean, you've got, like I mentioned, 4 staking contracts. There's all sorts of things that you can connect your NFT to, and if it's involved in stuff outside its original use case, it becomes definitely a lot more complex.
Well, Sean, now I've got you on. There was a big burning question actually from someone in the audience, and while we're with you, we'll stay with you, yeah? Interactive NFTs, with things like these meme ducks and others coming out, where you can press certain keys and you'll get information, whether that be prices, market prices, whatever. Do you think that these like interactive NFTs are going to become, even for like just, I don't know, PFPs or whatever, do you think like people in the community are going to start to see these as like being standard. Like now we've had them, we're kind of going to want to see them like all the time, regularly. Do you think they're like just a passing fad, or do you think they're here to stay?
I haven't actually seen these, so could you give me a wee example of what they do?
Well, Signal is the meme duck king of the world. So Signal, explain like what meme ducks kind of do with the keys, yeah?
It's funny you say that because I didn't get a single meme duck, and Soy was, rubbing it in my face like the next day because he got a bunch. But in these, I can talk about the Pixel Wizards, at least. I don't know if you've seen those fight.
Oh, sorry, dude. That's the one I missed. Dude, my bad. I've mixed them up. Sorry, dude.
But basically what it is it's an HTML file as your IPFS, right? And then so it can react to whatever. So like if you download it as HTML, so when it's open, with those ones, I think you can do it when it's a marketplace. Any Pixel Wizard you open, if you press Q, W, E, R, any of those buttons, it will react to it. So it reacts to any kind of input, and then it'll pull things from whatever source you want it to pull things from, and so on. So it's kind of cool what they do with the Pixel Wizards is it's pulling like price feeds for coins. So each of the wizards will be associated with a certain coin. You'll have he'll be like the Osmosis wizard, I guess. And then, it gives you the live Osmo price. It's something that we've actually been playing with a little bit as well. We can't find a way to like fit it in for a current collection, but we have experimented a little bit. Hey, it's cool. There's a lot of things you could do. You could be like rolling dice live in a given NFT. You could have an NFT that is like a radio essentially and then on the back side, it's like pulling a sound from a website, let's say. Like it's like the NFT is like a radio and you're pressing play, let's say, right? And then whatever it plays, you can be changing on the back end what it plays. The downside, I think, for those NFTs is that they are like reliant on a bunch of stuff off chain and a central source to like to give them use. You know what I mean? Like it has to run through a site and so on. So that could be a problem depending on how it's built. So that's one thing to think about, because like a lot of people think about NFTs in terms of being permanent and so on, right?
That's a Web 2. That's a Web 2 like connection, isn't it? What you're saying there, where it has to do with the off-chain data, right? So, like my next thing will be very quickly, and we'll find out from the other guys as well. But Signal, I'll ask you first. I clarify them in my own mind as interactive NFTs. Because you do interact with them rather than just kind of look at them, right, on a screen. But that would be different from what we're expecting to come from, like, I think it's Magic Eden and a few others, where they're working on, like, programmable NFTs, right? So at the minute, I believe your NFTs are, like, programmable in regards to, like, royalties at the collection level. But there are people working on programmable ability at the actual NFT level, right? So you could have, like, staggered royalties, like, over a collection based on rarities. I think programmable NFTs would stop you doing like P2P trading without like circumventing the royalties. Like we're not going to class Pixel Wizards as a programmable NFT, right? They're something completely different. How would you clarify them? Are they interactive like Pixel Wizards, or how would we describe it?
Yeah, I guess I don't think they are programmable. If I understand it correctly, and in terms of like what you're talking about, I think it is more of like a I guess Web3, Web2 integration, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. But again, that's only like my understanding of them, and I could be wrong. I don't know everything about like what the guy has planned. I haven't looked super close at them.
I think programmable NFTs would have to be 100% on chain. I'm sure that when I listen to Magic Eden, the guy he said there's going to be no like trade off and on chain. I'm sure the programmable NFTs have to be 100%. I don't know if like Bonzi, Pepe, Jacob, or Sean, I don't know if you guys are into this kind of stuff much or been following the Magic Eden stuff and One Planet. Bonzi?
Not really. What I am essentially taking away from it, just at a first hand glance, it more just seems like a form of security more than like a use case, just from the description I've heard. When you add these like extra layers in, right, like the only people that can usually do this and be successful are the guys who did it first, or the biggest companies where it can be like a side thing. I don't really see it taking off mainstream. That would be my take.
Anybody else got anything to contribute towards interactive or programmable NFTs?
I haven't followed too much about the the programmable NFTs. I was thinking the other day, like a cool function would be if we were a little bit more responsive with, like, for example, royalties and stuff like that. Like, for example, if you could set up functions for kind of like staggered royalties based on the performance of the collection, where like if the floor price was below mint, the team was getting like no royalties, and if it was, a certain percentage above mint, like then, so that like in a way that it's like, yeah, if a collection underperforms, the team isn't showing up or whatever, or if you want to sell quickly, you could sell at like a low price, and you would basically be like losing money, but then you'd be giving it to somebody in the community who wanted to get in at that price. I don't know. I think that could be an interesting dynamic. I don't think that would be exactly programmable NFTs because it's still done on a collection level, I believe, but that would just be something I haven't seen. That would be kind of interesting.
Do you think, like, morally, this is a good one, like morally and ethically in the industry, like say you've got person A and person B, right? They're both mint from the same collection. One gets like a really, really low, like rarity, basically nothing. Someone gets like the number one, right? We know what they can sell for, yeah? Do you think like it's fair that like the person who's got the lowest rarity, not worth much, is paying like, say, a 10% royalty, and then the person who's selling one for like, I don't know, 25k stars or whatever, they're paying the same royalty? I know it's kind of like it's 10% on regardless, but do you think that's like kind of the right thing to do? Or should those higher kind of rarities be getting more royalty and the low ones be getting less?
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like if you get all four rarity or whatever, and the floor price is down bad, and you're taking a big loss on it, like royalty could be zero for you. Whereas if you had like the number one most rare one and you're selling it already at a 10 times gain, like that one would have like a certain level of royalty associated with it. I mean, you're already up, like, let's say 10 times on it, so it's like for you to give up 5, 10% or 8% or whatever from having had that NFT and from having held it and listed it and got, had somebody found a buyer for it, like you've made money. Now the team can make money. Whereas if you mint it and you're at a loss, like why, well, that maybe means the team isn't showing up, isn't delivering, or there could be a plethora of other reasons. So it's kind of like, that's where it's like, oh, okay, now you're taking a loss there too.
Any comments, guys? Any follow-ups?
I had a comment. Robo, I can't believe you want to tax the rich, I see.
Well, I'm from Robin Hood country, son. Why not? Feed the poor, feed the RAC FM poor,
There we go. I knew it.
Well, I don't know if anyone wants to comment before I drop this topic in, because we're going to drop not a bombshell, but we're going to put the cat amongst the pigeons. Are you all ready? Is anything we want to tie up before we... Bonzi?
No, hit me with it. I've been waiting all night.
All right. There was an NFT collection that was going to be part of a game launched. I believe it was launched on Juno, and the game was called Kepler. And it happened to be created by someone who is very, very prominent high up in the Juno community. In fact, they are on Juno sub-DAOs. Specifically, I think definitely the comms DAO. I'm not too sure if the person's on the delegation DAO, but definitely the comms DAO. Very, very prominent, upper echelon in the Juno community. And they've decided to up sticks and take their collection over to Matic. Now, I don't know what you guys think, whether that's a traitorous move, whether that's a good play, whether that's conflict of interest. Since it's Juno, I'm going to ask Pepe. When it comes to Juno, I always put Pepe on the spot. Pepe, do you think that was a wise move? I mean, there's money on Matic. I respect him, but also it's not like he's a normal player like me. He's upper echelon. Do you think it's a bad look for Juno?
Well, I mean, I've spoken with him. about this in private plenty of times. I mean, he was exceptionally frustrated, let's just say, with the way a lot of things happened, the market and otherwise around Juno at the time, and the way that the community showed up support. And I guess, and even to that point, like you said, like he's a known figure. He's like doing these other things for Juno for, I believe, for free. Like I don't believe he's being paid by the communication sub-DAO. So it's like he's put a lot of his time and effort into trying to grow this chain. And I guess this goes back to kind of what I was talking about, a few weeks ago, where it's like the biggest Juno whales just aren't showing up to support builders on Juno. Like here you have somebody who's well known, he's connected to probably all the biggest wallets. I had put a lot of time and effort into the art, it was a unique project. And I think they only sold 200 or maybe 300. It's like, there's more, I don't know, there's more big wallets in Juno than that. So that means not even the big wallets all just even minted one to support him.
Yeah, and I think they made a big mistake that I'll mention after this. Jacob, any opinion on that? Capital R, did you follow it or ignore it?
Yeah, I didn't follow it as much though.
Fair play, dude. I don't blame you. Actually, there's something actually connected to that we'll mention in a second. Signal. Did you follow that story, or do you know well?
I don't know. It's like, go ahead and leave.
Well, also Pepe said, I mean, he's working for free, but he's not really working for free, guys, because I can guarantee you, once all the work's done, there are props going up for everybody to get paid. So I know they're not getting paid at the minute, but you work for a month in your job and then you get paid. So they're doing the same in the sub-DAOs, but they are going to get paid, yeah, and well.
Yeah, they're going to get paid more than most people, yeah. I mean, yeah,
is it a traitorous move? Is it a traitorous move, Signal? Yes or
no? No, I don't think so. Because our whole ethos is built around people being able to move place to place, depending on what opportunities may be there for them. It's like an open permissionless chain and so on. It's not like you're our intellectual property that have a stranglehold on or anything like that. But yeah, I can't say that something like that makes me pleased to hear, but it's yeah, I don't know, go ahead and go. Someone else will make something cool.
I got MetaRats vibes off them, me. And I really didn't buy that. I mean, all of these one-on-one custom NFTs, PFPs that were sent out to Jacob and Joe and all of these characters, right? And I'm I'm really against this, man. I think if you're sending NFTs out to influencers that have done nothing for your project, right? I think you're just trying to use them as a marketing vehicle to rug. The minute I see this, oh, look what I've just got before the project's even launched. I think people should work for your project. Then they'll deserve a one-on-one or an honorary, right? But he seemed to be pumping them out for everybody's Signal. I got scammy MetaRat vibes.
Well, that part I would agree with for sure. Just because I didn't look into this project at all. I don't know anything about it other than the fact that I just saw I don't know. Kevin had one. Joe has one. Nothing against people that for having that as their profile picture. If you get a cool picture yourself,
great, use it.
But but yeah, it's I literally had no idea what this project was other than that. You know what I mean? So that doesn't necessarily. I don't know. That speaks for itself, I think, in terms of my interest.
It's interesting you mentioned Kevin because he was in on the MetaRats as well, so no connection there. Bonzi, what do you think about this? These one-on-ones given up front, custom honoraries to promote the project, good or bad?
So I can go on this topic for a while. The first thing that I'll say, the marketing, I actually have no issue with. For people curious, it's not a big space. Anyone making a game is the closest to ours, and I kind of said this early on, Stargaze really wanted them on Stargaze. I was like, I can get them on Stargaze if we want them. And they're like, well, let him make his own decision. And it's like, he doesn't know marketing. Like, I'm not perfect at it, but like, if you went into his Discord and you see he's charging $40, like, it's just not going to sell. Of course it's not going to sell. And you're going to put on Juno. Of course it's not going to, like, there were 100 things that said, this is not the play. So the marketing I have no issues with, because as a game, it's super hard. Like, I don't expect to have a ton of players playing Sunnyside Cemetery. That's why we're doing like the revenue DAO, and then we're looking at like doing wager mode. But I mean, I looked at it, I was like, this is a pretty basic game. Like, and the fact that it's not called Kelipar anymore, it's called Ashen Horizon. That should just kind of tell you how badly they messed up. I also, I'll be honest, just because it's a card game and I know that originally they got more recognition than us, I always wanted to ask why. Because, like, I don't know, ours is definitely, don't tell anyone, guys, but ours is like way more advanced.
Well, Bonzi, before we get the other opinions, right, I'm going to ask you a question. Let's say that these one-on-ones go out to influencers, right? And people promote them. And, some people have got like thousands of followers, like people like Kevin and stuff, right? And the project just immediately rogues like meta rats. Have these people got a responsibility to the community? Do these people have to answer to the community for promoting something that was a rug pull? Because I think that's the defining moment. If it's not a rogue, well, it's probably great having the one-on-ones for promotion. But if it turns out to be a rogue, it's a really bad look for the people that promoted it, right?
I mean, here's kind of my thing is, especially when we started, projects would ask us to do giveaways. We do them from our handles. Then like shady ones started popping up. Commoners, I think was the name, where, they never sent out rewards. So it was like, okay, well, we're not doing it from our handle anymore, right? Unless we trust the project and know the project. So I don't think it's on the fault of the influencers. Like, it'd just be a learning mistake. Now, if they choose to, like anyone who was in MetaRats, right, and they did the PFP thing, and then they do it again, like, 2 strikes is like, all right, maybe like you aren't really, paying attention and you shouldn't trust that influencer. But like, I don't know, man. I would not blame somebody for trying to help another project. I don't think it's, especially influencers. Like, I get a lot of messages a day. I'm sure the influencers get a lot more. I don't think it's on that of the influencer to determine, it's not on them. That's my take.
Well,
yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Signa. I was just going to say, as someone whose account like grew quite quickly, like over a couple of like good calls. I mean, I shot up from like 600 followers, like literally overnight, to like 2.5. What I did notice is that up until 2K followers, I didn't get a DM from anybody. For some reason, the minute I hit 2K, you've got all of these projects coming out. Would you like to do a whitelist? Would you like to do this? And then when you get to 5K, that contact, guys, it triples, quadruples. Like literally you could have like 10, 12, 14 projects a day. So there's something to do with the amount of Twitter followers. I can only imagine that when you get to 10K, 15, 20, 25, that like that increases, But I just thought it was a disgrace that you had like everybody had a meta rat. Sunny, Cito, Liam, right? All of them, all of the big players, every big player in Cosmos had one. You go and try and find that meta rat's PFP on their timelines now, because I've searched, they've all deleted it. And they're all even like deny. And Liam was on his high horse talking about Kepler the other week. And I'm like, dude, you all want to talk? And he just shut his fucking mouth. He was like, well. Sean, quickly. Go on, Signal. Sorry, you go on, Signal, yeah.
I wanted to say, though, isn't MetaRat still like the best investment, though, from that period? Because it was all held in USDC.
They were looking at
right? Yeah, in that multi-sig.
Isn't like USD, like that treasury?
It's USDC.
Down the hill. No, I think USD too. I don't know. I don't remember, but I know the treasury went down the hill because right now I think only 29,000 left. Only 29,000 left in the treasury now.
But they can't do anything with it, right?
That's better if you're on Juno or anything else.
No. I think one thing happened, the community took over, and that fund right now is in the community wallet. So that dude end up giving the little fund left over to the
But
community.
shouldn't they already
Because-
have a DAO by now? Has MetaRat's actually officially got a DAO, and have all funds been transferred
The
over
thing-
to a treasury wallet?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they have a DAO, but the thing is, MetaRat is on secrets. I also bought MetaRat too, so it's crazy. I bought MetaRat at the top. Remember when they launched? They launched for like, is it like $300, something like that in the bull market? That was crazy. Now,
Yeah,
it's
well,
like-
Joe's
now,
It's still actually not worse than like most projects that perform that we're holding. Do you know what I mean? Like fixed.
no,
You know what I mean?
They
Just
were-
get standard.
imagine that they went from, I think, between 200 something, now they're like $29. I think it would have been better to hold a bad kid or something.
No, the bad kid's
It's like,
Please don't mention bad kids. Please don't mention bad kids, Jacob. I've got PTSD here. I could have been retired by now, I'll tell you. If I'd listened to Don, Jesus Christ.
yep.
Jacob, did you buy any bad kids at the floor?
No, crazy thing, I don't have any bad kid anymore. I'm stupid. I
Dude,
sold on my bad kid.
Dude, the ugly as fuck. Honestly, I could never figure out how people got into them. But hey, that's a bias, so it's cost me a lot of money. Same with dog coins. Sean, I know you guys didn't do that. Did you guys release any like honorary one-on-ones up front? Can't remember. I don't think you did, right?
No, I didn't.
Nah, we had on the Ceremint, I think we had 4 or 5 one-of-ones. So this Space Skelly, a couple of SSRs, and a couple of TSAS one-of-ones that were just part of the mint. I think one of them actually went to the project. So
How many shillfluencers? I mean, that's what I like to call them, right? Shillfluencers, yeah. When you were like putting your project together, announcing it, did you have like loads of like shillfluencers like contacting you, like, oh, can we help promote you? Can we do this?
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, if you go on the off just Twitter alone, there's probably at least 10 a day that go in the requests, like the message requests, and you jump in there, and there's actually like legitimate people messaging in there as well that we miss because there's that many. Hey, like, how about I do a post that'll reach, I've got 40,000 followers, it's $10, okay, yeah, that sounds real good. But this is honestly, it's rampant. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not great signal.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to circle back on that topic to a question you posed through Bbandz before about like the pros and cons of trying to do a limited thing. I think one of the pros is that no one contacts us for anything. It's great.
Oh, I love that. Well, that was my thing. It's like that was my thing, Signal. I mean, we obviously our NFTs were quite expensive at about $160, and we had like 1,333 of them, right? 1,333. So we did get a bit of working capital, right, which allowed us to then go and like build a casino. So what I was thinking about you, and yeah, Wolfman, we're going to get people up for questions in 1 second, dude. But definitely 100%. That's next. Yeah, dude. Like, I was thinking, like, well, did Signal and them like put in their own money? Did they have to fundraise? Because like those NFT collections, which I know why they're unique and so like curated, but like I was just thinking, well, was that much of an impact? Did that force you to go and raise like capital or what?
No, we're fine in our day jobs, and we're just doing it as a passion project.
Cool. I like that. I picked up on that when I met you in Bangkok. And anyway, guys, before we wrap up, I don't know if Pepe, Bbandz, anyone's got anything else to say about the one-on-ones up front. Think it's a good idea, bad idea. But we've got some chads want to come up for questions. If you guys have got a little bit of time for a little bit of Q&A, is that all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I got
excellent.
5
right.
minutes, and I got to shoot to a meeting. But yeah.
No worries, Sean. We appreciate you, dude. You've been a welcome guest. I hope you've enjoyed yourself today, Sean, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been good.
Well, we do these, dude, every fortnight, and it's the same like calls that we try to bring in like week after week to keep a steady panel. but then we always try to have like a guest panelist, and we're trying to bring in like guest co-hosts. I've actually got a huge surprise, guys, for the next NFT Roundtable. Something that none of you in this room are expecting. Put it this way, you do not want to miss the 21st of March, 9 p.m. EST. It's going to be not even like Bonzi and them and Pepe know right what's coming. Signal, none of you know what's coming. Just be on your guard. I've got a surprise for you, right? Sasha, you can request, guys. Anybody request? Wolfman, you got a question for the panel, yeah? Welcome, dude. Are you there, Wolfman? Are you getting rooked? Triggering me PTSD, isn't he? Triggering me PTSD. I can't cope with that, Wolfman. You're going to have to talk, bro. I can't deal with that, please.
Oh, come
please,
on,
I could have been retired,
man.
dude.
You don't even know, brother. Hey, we got over 100 bad kids in the O Vault. Y'all don't even know. We are going to be worth $1 million just on our bad kids holding alone. And guess what? All you got to do is have a Watchers NFT from ONFT and get that O token, and you got a piece of that action. But hey, what I'm really here to say is, welcome members, only homeboy, looters, we the bad kids. I'm just messing.
Did we have a question?
Hey,
Did we have a question, Wolfie?
Back in the early days when the dude came out, it's on iTunes, and he's called Web3, and he's I think he's actually a dev, but he also raps, and he came out with the Bad Kids Signal. I don't know if you were around that time when it came out, but it was so much fun, man, and it just does not get enough play, and people don't bring it up enough, man. It's so much fun, and Bad Kids are the shit.
And that was totally not a question.
I know. I think you've just made Bbandz quite angry. You've woke her up with the music, and then you've made her angry. She's got, don't mess with man.
My husband over here next to me.
I came in late. Happy. Bbandz was hosting on the RAC side. Damn, man. Okay.
Oh, she's hostess with the mostess is Bbandz. I tell you, she's hardcore RAC FM contributor.
Bro, I called that from the early days when she started going live. I said, she's going to be big. She's going to go far. She's just so good at it. And there are just certain people in the space, even you yourself, have begun to really find your voice and have found a niche. And it's just, dude, it's awesome to see, because we're not all really good at this, where we can ask questions, where we can dive deep and create these really rich conversations. And you two, man, you're great at it. So keep it up, man. Thanks for having me up.
No worries. Do you know what's doing it for me, guys, right? And why I'm reaching out to people like Risby and why we're cracking on, and White Whale and Sen, people that I've had conflicts with in the past through raccoons, why we've put down our weapons, right, and made peace and driving things forward, right, and coming together, collaborating, is simply because we've had enough of these people who run these L1s fucking taking the piss, whether it's validators just dumping all the rewards constantly, people extracting value like fucking Highlander, etc. Other, especially in the Juno hierarchy, right? I could talk lots about the shit that's gone over there. So we have to take the power into our own hands. Us guys, the dApps, the NFT projects, we can build. We don't fucking need them. Let them stay in their wheelhouse. Let us guys take care of the culture, right? Let them nerds sit in mom's basement, right? And let us run the fucking culture shows, dude. That's how this is working. We've had enough. Peace, no more war, right? That's what raccoons are all about now.
Does somebody have a question? Or are we...
Yeah.
Oh,
I have one question for Wolfman, though. What happened to Chode, man?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean just the floor price? Or... I'm not the founder of that, I'm just a huge enthusiast. I love the baby Chodes.
Yeah, I got a boatload of Chode too, so...
Bro, I mean, the O Vault has like 10%. I think, no, the O Vault has over 10% of the supply of Chodes. So, the project's committed to wanting to see something happen there. But the founder has, he kind of peekabooed a bit ago. He said a little hellos, made some fun of some devs, but didn't really do anything beyond that. So I was kind of disappointed. But, honestly, we're building so many cool things over here. We have those 3D Chodes too. So, if nothing happens by the next bull market, for sure, like we'll do some cool stuff, man. 'Cause it's a good collection, man. It's a lot of fun, and I'd love to see the racks get more behind it, even if there's not a leader behind it. We don't really need a leader to rock out chodes.
The only thing I hate like with the chode kind of thing is like I love the art in kind of for the most part, but I hate that every time I sell a chode, that dude is getting 5%.
But imagine this: he didn't put at least he didn't put a 10%, right? You know, I mean, there's so many projects. I remember early on in Stargaze, I think we were the first project to charge 10%, and it was because we were using every single bit of it to buy NFTs from those collections that were upset about us doing that. It was funny, like by creating the O Vault, right? It was an investment in Stargaze, but then all of a sudden, all the projects started doing 10% or more, right? And I was like, what the fuck? What? Why the hate? We're literally buying your project. Now you're charging me 10% and you're taking all the profits and pocketing it while we're reinvesting it into actually creating like a product for the marketplace and trying to create a better culture for the space. It was a weird thing that I saw. Anyways, I'll be quiet.
I can't talk or my husband's going to be mad at me.
That's all right. We've got that's all right. We've got Banded come up. Banded, did you have a general question for the panel or a specific question for someone? Well, you got the mic.
Yeah, I think it was a general question for the panel. So number one, really enjoyed all the conversation here tonight. I was on last week, and Pikey, I don't know your full name, but you.
Oh, it's Robbo. It's just Robbo's alt. I'm just low key for Bbandz today.
So you'd invited me on to here. Just as quick background, I started a company 10 plus years ago called Pickpocket Labs. And so over the last 12, 13 years, cobbled together kind of a mountain of intellectual property around early geofencing and early location-based services, early AR, for persistent AR platforms. And I mentioned it briefly last week, and you said, come on here, and towards the end, there might be some time.
Yeah, you did. You did, dude. And I said, we'd try to give the last 15, 20 minutes. Dude, you know something I totally forgot with working with Bbandz this week. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, let me intro this.
Okay.
Let me intro. So just for the panel, guys, this guy started talking to me about their NFT project last week. And it sounded really weird, right, to do with like geolocation stuff, right? And I said, hey, do you want to come on and like talk to the guys, and they might be able to give you some like advice, because he's not sure like where he should build his home, right? So Banded, if we asked for the elevator pitch, right, and we always ask for the like a 2-minute elevator pitch, what's your project and what's your issue we'll find at a marketplace?
Yeah, so we're called Banded Armadillo Rock Club, and it started off as a ridiculous joke. We like I said, we have this mountain of IP. We'll have, I think, 15 patent families and location-based services in AR. And we just got it in our heads because we know some folks in the Cosmos ecosystem, Andromeda Protocol, the guys there. And they kind of got us excited about taking everything we've ever done and bringing it to, creating a Web3 property. And so we figured if we're going to fuse geospatial data, geofencing into NFT metadata, and create a construct where NFTs interact with each other, or rules about how an NFT and when an NFT and where an NFT can be purchased relative to a marketplace or so on, just covering lots of space. We filed some more IP around it. We figured we should have our own NFT collection just to show how it's done. And just as a joke, we started Banded Armadillo Rock Club, but now we have 5 NFT collections. We're about ready to do a soft launch at South by Southwest. And the idea is that we take geospatial information like a geofence, bake it into the NFT, and then when I have my NFT in my digital wallet and I travel to that location, whether it's Lake Tahoe area, Aspen, Austin, London, Rome, wherever.
Proof of presence.
What was that? What?
Like proof of presence.
Yeah, exactly right. That's right. And so,
well, wouldn't this, guys, stop me if I'm wrong, wouldn't this stop something like ticket touts for like concerts and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like if it was non-transferable and then it was like geo-based, like that would surely kind of like stop things like ticket touts, no?
NFTs are not only images.
Exactly. Right. And, actually,
IoT.
1 minute, Sasha. One
Yes,
minute,
sir.
let the guy finish, and then you can ask him all the questions you want, Sasha.
Yeah. So, well, Sasha, that's 100% dead on. I mean, I kind of sit back, and I'm not a Web3 person. I took my Wharton and my MIT online classes here just in the last few months. But I'm a BSEE MBA from Rensselaer and Hochschule St. Gallen. So I understand a little bit. I'm learning a lot from all of you. But I see people paying, whether it's hundreds of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars for an NFT, and then they stare at it on their 4-inch screen. Oh, everyone should be thrilled that Samsung or LG launches a television now where I can attach a digital wallet or connect a digital wallet and look at my NFTs on my TV. It's kind of lame. And we got in our heads with this persistent AR platform that we filed IP around in 2011 that I think everybody here has got a PFP. I'm staring at all of your faces right now. Whether it's your PFP, whether it's your other NFTs in your collection, or just even memories, photos that you've taken, videos, 3D models. Folks would just like to take those and, ghost them in the real world, in real life, AR, take all of your IP and, put it in the middle of Central Park, put it in the middle of Zilker Park, let people engage with it. And so it started off, how do we build this mobile companion app for NFTs that integrates, in our case, our AR platform, a viewer, as well as the ability to drop NFTs and ghosts and any image, any digital object really anywhere. We geofencing to aggregate photos and video based on date, time, location. The ability to geo live stream to a geofence. Geofilters like you see in Snaps. Stuff. We've taken everything that we've ever built, anything we've ever filed a patent on, anything that's still pending, and launching. And I have to say, Pikey, Rob, that bat signal that you put in your Twitter feed, I love it. So we actually have this cool little feature with one press of a button. You cycle through your, 10, 15 NFTs, and we'll support, as many wallets as you want, really, I guess. And you pick your NFT, you press one button, and it's hovering over wherever you ghosted it, 40 feet up in the air. We've got a bat tracker that, like I said, we have this element where we have 4 or 5 NFT collections right now, but where geospatial data is baked into one, and geospatial data cages another one. And then we created this flight path simulation tool where the geo-caged NFT flies around, let's say, all of Austin randomly. But if they come in contact with each other, we'll give you a free NFT. Or there's some game element and game mechanic in there that you play it a few times and you'll wind up winning something. And you may win more than you're allowed to keep. And so we wanted to list the overages onto a marketplace. And so we have, like I said, we're launching in a few days. And we still have to figure out, is it Cosmos? Do we put one collection on Ordinals? Do we put one on Ethereum? Do we put one in Cosmos? From our perspective, we're agnostic as to where the wallets come from, where the NFT comes from, that we allow you to represent yourself on this unique, exclusive social network. And we're also agnostic in a sense where our collections reside. One of these days, I imagine you'll be able to burn it off one, bring it to another anyway, or through IBC, move things all around. And like I said, I'm not as versed in this.
It's coming.
Yeah. So that it's called Banded Armadillo Rock Club. And even if you're not at South by Southwest, we'll put a press release out. I'll make sure that Rob knows where it is. If it's, at the very least, we're going to give one little, we call it a bat madillo, because we've got banded armadillos, we've got bats, because we're from Austin, right? And the banded armadillo is a big deal in Austin, Texas. The free-tailed bats that live under Congress Street Bridge, we have like one of the largest colonies of bats here. So we decided we'd take banded armadillos and bats, and then obviously there's a mutant kind of component because we were making fun of Bored Ape. We'll call them beasts instead. And then we figure when the banded armadillos and the bats get together, there's either some furious, serious, sweet lovemaking going on, or you're getting passing rabies and leprosy around. So you get a bat madillo, or you get the beast, the mutant. So the bat madillo is
Let's find out. I think Sasha's got some questions for you.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
Before we go too far, let's see, and then Pepe will go to. Sasha, you got any specific questions about this?
Not really questions, but
comments.
Request that we should have a call.
Sind Sie Deutsch, ja?
Ich bin aus Deutschland, klar.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm also into IoT hardware, firmware, and proof of presence, and Cosmos on microchips, stuff like that, audit trails. So I have these things since 4 years or longer, 5 years investigating. So it's nice to have someone to talk to, because
slip in the DMs, right?
Yeah,
get some bromance in the DMs.
I followed you a little bit earlier today, I think, already, or maybe I've been following you for a while, but I see I'm following you.
Pepe has got his hand up. He must be itching for a question here. Don't worry, Sasha. We're not going anywhere just yet. Pepe, Geo?
Yeah, I was just curious. So, is the geolocating just being done by whatever device then like NFT is living on?
Can be fake.
Yeah, exactly right. I didn't hear the second question, but to answer your question, Pepe, yes, we're a mobile device development company, and this is a mobile-first NFT strategy. So, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a mobile device, but we kind of see a future where with our AR platform that we're building, and that's integrated into this, it's going to be AR glasses one day too, and we just want to touch all of these IoT devices and mobile devices.
If you have any questions regarding this Internet of Things and the hardware, let me know, because I already built these things. Like, it's like a small chip, 3 volt, okay, which literally signs something for you, sends that with Bluetooth Low Energy, and you can cryptographically prove that you have been at exactly this location. Because the private key is on this chip,
Yeah, I got it. I spent a number of years working at Texas Instruments. I ran their digital micromirror device or digital light processing business for 5-7 years. Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India, and then when it was in our venture program, and most of the guys that I know, all the optical, like the optics engineers and even the electronics engineers, work at all of the Taiwanese ODMs who make smart devices or some of these AR glasses these days. And so, Sasha, I think we'd have a brilliant conversation. I'd love to talk to you.
Hell yeah.
So, Pepe, you got Bonzi, you got your hand up, and actually, I was going to ask you, Bonzi, straight away. Like, do you think there are any out of the box, like like needs for like something like this, or what?
I actually love. Sorry, go Tradooors.
I'll follow up after you. I was just like, I have one I want to follow up on after you.
Okay, so normally when people come up with ideas, I hate them. They usually suck. They're repetitive. They're easy to copy. I really like this idea. And I'm biased. Like what I do in my spare time is I like to travel to areas like where I live, and I try to visit somewhere new and like see a new site. So like when you say geolocation, the first thing that comes to mind for me is that, okay, go to this location. If you can get here, you can now claim on your phone, because you're in the right location, you can now claim this NFT, and it becomes like a treasure hunt. Like it reminds me of Pokemon Go.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, the Pokemon Go guys were Nintendo, Pokemon, and Niantic, and they got together in, I think it was 2014. They didn't start building really till 2015. I think, if I remember, we were like 3-4 years before them. So, everything from, if you show up at a location, maybe you unlock rewards, perquisites, benefits, that kind of thing with a loyalty program. I could just, let's say, walk up at to store number 1204 of Starbucks and pick a city somewhere, and there's a floating NFT in front of the building that I see in my mobile app, my viewer, that, let's say, I then create a geofence around that floating NFT for a distance of 50 meters, and anybody takes a photo of that, then automatically we log who that person is, and we either send you a code, we allow you to display a QR code, you go into Starbucks and you get $6 off your $12 coffee. That sort of the scavenger hunt stuff, the loyalty program stuff, or just ghosting memory.
You should check out like Ruby Tech, for example, RUV. I think I write it in your DMs, but it's like a small thing, like 2 years battery runtime, and it's sending out small Bluetooth information, like every minute or something. And so your phone is communicating and seeing this bacon. It's like these, these Apple bacons, Bluetooth bacons, and I flashed like the cryptographics of several blockchains on there, the private key. Nobody knows, of course, this private key because it's on this chip, inside the wall or even inside a frame of some artwork, physical or whatever. And then it's signing some text or like we know it, right? It's signing the transaction with the private key that is on this thing at this location, sends it back to your phone, and you can upload it, and a smart contract is able to verify that.
Well, yeah. So, but like from the user standpoint, like you mentioned, like getting coupons off of like Starbucks. Honestly, my immediate thought is axe that idea. Get rid of anything that requires you to work with other people. Make it about the scavenger hunt, have a basic level, and then have passes that you sell as NFTs. So the free version's open, right? It has things that you can claim and things that you can see anywhere. But there's a lot more between certain level passes, and each level, if people are invested, $20, $30, like it goes up each level to unlock the next network level.
So we did get approached by a very large, what do I call them? Like a news agency that has 10 million plus award-winning prize photos in their trove of content. And, obviously some of it goes back 100 years. The last 10 years, maybe they have decent metadata. The other years, someone has cataloged this and gotten some information that would put that image or that snapshot of history relatively close to where it took place originally. And, your whole point about cut out the Starbucks and just have something that's within your control is absolutely right. This group wants to make that whole portfolio of photos and short video clips available to us to just ghost around the world and allow everybody else to have that experience without there being some, how do I say it, something brandy put right in front of you. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, because like if you think about like Starbucks, I haven't been to a Starbucks in years. It varies per person, right? But now, because like if people's perceived benefit is this discount to something they might not care for, like that's my thought. And now you have to also like, you're either finding like free coupons or like you're having to negotiate and clog stuff up. Because like longer term, if this is something other developers can build off of, then maybe like this is a very not thought out idea. I see 100 issues with it, but like if they contribute, then maybe people who contribute a significant amount, now they get a small portion of the upgrade passes, right?
Exactly right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a huge idea, and like it would take a long time to develop, but like as a concept, I personally love it. Like the first thing I think about is like Monster Hunt, right? Like there's a few national parks nearby, and it's find the monster, get a picture of the monster that's roaming around in the park that you can see on your phone only.
Yep.
Guys, I'm going to come in for two things here, because when you mentioned Pokemon Go, I was thinking about other Web 2 sort of applications or situations, right? But I am getting some DMs, guys, and I'll tell you why. We are, for like Spotify and everything else, right? We are at the sweet spot of like 2 hours 20. Anything more than like 2 hours 20, 25, Finn's going to have to like break it up or edit stuff out. So what I was thinking of, though, very quickly with this geo stuff is, haven't we just had this situation with Netflix where you have to be logged on to the IP address where the original device signed up within like 28 days? Or, you know, that Netflix are trying to stop this account sharing thing that's been going on, right?
Yep.
Isn't that like a little bit similar where you got to prove your location every like 28 days and that, right?
Also, like smart cards, yeah, like the IPTV things there.
Yeah.
Like decentralized Airbnb.
I would love to talk to anybody about this. We've been working on applications around geofencing and location-based stuff for 12 years. Apple reached out to us once about 2.5 years ago and said that it's the strangest thing. One of their worldwide enterprise leads, they only have 8 enterprise divisions that the company's kind of focused on, and one of their 8 folks got so excited about our IP position and what we could build, they had us build something we called Aggregation for Local Emergency Response Teams, or ALERT. And it's actually, we've taken ALERT and we've actually built it into the Banded Armadillo Rock Club mobile companion app now. But I mean, so in other words, Pikey, I love the way your mind works, and Sasha as well, Sunnyside, Trader. You know, I could go on all day about areas that we could explore.
Don't worry, dude. Don't worry. We'll get you on again. Don't worry. We'll get you on, and I'm gonna try and find some other experts who. I'll speak to one of our devs and a couple of other people to see if I can get any experts on. You know.
Can I put one question out there for the group though? Just to
but we've only got like, we haven't even got like 5 minutes, but then I need to do the outlaws for the shows coming up. But yeah, go on, dude. Pitch it quickly. Go on.
Yeah, Utes got $3 million from Polygon. Loop got 1.6 million from Juno. I have a treasure trove of IP. We're looking for a home. What do I have to do? Like just the NFT story and collection and mobile companion app and all of this stuff rolled together. We think it's kind of special. We're bringing almost 15 patent families. How do I get someone's attention? We want to choose the right chain, but we also would love a little bit of assistance. We've built so much already.
Bonzi's your man. Bonzi, what would you say?
Yeah. Do you have a working product?
Oh yeah, yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
And we have
think with so the grants are harder to come by now, but there are places still giving them. Your low following count is going to be an issue when talking to these people and like proving it. One of the biggest things is like, you can have an amazing product, but if no one knows who you are, it's a dead product, right?
Right.
So like, you need partners, and when I say partners, I mean you need to have bigger projects vouch for you and say like, we know this guy. Yeah. That would be my biggest thing, is like starting to work with these. The project itself, like depending on how you want to do it, if you guys are not into marketing and not necessarily into that like community aspect building side, I would cut a deal with a project and say, hey, you might be able to get the attention of these platforms. You might be able to get a grant. We give you a certain percent of the revenue if you can help us stay around and you attach our name to your brand.
I just followed you, and because I know Pikey has to close this up, but I just followed you, and I'll send you a DM after this. Thank you.
Okay.
Good man. Well, dude, on my own account, I mean, most of you know me, but if anyone's new, because I can see Harley's requesting, you know, Harley, jump in the other space. I'll spin up a unrecorded open mic. So anybody, what you've heard today, you can come up and comment. It'll definitely not be recorded. I mean, guys, we don't officially record these on spaces, but we do record them like in the background. We do that in case there's any moments that we might need to scrub. We decided that like we were always going to play safe, and, you know, as long as everything was cushy and there was no controversy, we could put it out, but we put it out very quietly. So we're going to wind down. I just want to say, make sure, guys, that you keep your eye out on the RAC FM updates, because now we've got more hosts, there's more shows. I don't know what time it is for UTC or EST. You'll have to check. But Bruce today, I think 4 hours ago, he just posted. He's arranged a show with Eric from Archway. Eric wants to talk about sponsoring RAC FM as well. And he's from Astrovault. That should be a good one. That's Bruce's first interview. Beginning next week, we should have NOIS, the randomness guys, with Moll. That dude, do not miss that. There's a chance that Moll might just go to town on these guys, right, on Juno. So we're going to, because Moll's been through the docks and he's not very happy, right? And I'm trying to arrange to get API 3, the randomness Oracle, trying to get them on the same show. So that should be massive, right? But that's not planned yet. Thursday is planned with Archway. That's Eric. Friday, we've got a bit of a weird show, guys. We've got the usual crack, me, Bbandz, Finn, etc., right? The recorded show for the week. But we've got some like mad guests. I don't even know why we picked these. Sorry, Chen. Oh, I'm going to DM him, dude. I did try to line up when Reese was going to be able to come on. And we are trying to organise this like Resurrect Juno Summit as well. Oh, that's fucking, I'm going to ask Pepe about that. But Friday, guys, 8 a.m. EST should be a bit of a mad show because we've got like 2 random as fuck guests on. We've got BitShack, who's like a South African Bitcoin maxi. He's part of the Celsius crew, what's been going on over there, right? He's not really into Cosmos, which is ideal for us. And we've got Freya the Needlecast, who's just been promoted to Core 1 at Juno. He's the guy that basically like saved the chain when Juno Hold happened last year. He never does spaces. He's just done his first one the other week. But he is from the Game and Nodes podcast that they do every week on YouTube. So I'm pumped for Friday. It should be a laugh a minute like last week. And then, guys, we've got the DeFi Degen special the Friday after, which will be the 17th. That's going to be lethal. We've got a little panel of DeFi Degens coming on from like different places like Arbitrum, Optimism. And we're just going to give like a DeFi Degens for plebs kind of spaces where we can like take the piss, but like give some alpha. So the next few weeks, guys, on RAC FM are going to be insane. Just make sure that you get the notice on. We'll put them up well in advance. Click that link, RSVP, put it in your calendar, then you can forget about it, right? I just want to once again thank Bbandz, hostess with the mostess, fantastic tonight. As always, Bonzi, Pepe, Jacob, and obviously Signal and EJ when they were here. Absolute legends. I hope one week we'll be able to get all 6 of you guys on, 7 of you guys, yeah? That'll be insane. And just get ready, especially Bonzi, for the 21st, for the next NFT, right, Bonzi? Nice surprise for your son, okay?
I'm very curious to see what it is.
Oh, it's original. It's the first time any years I've ever seen this before, but I'm going to keep you in suspense. Right, guys, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to quickly spin up the show. Come over and you know you can shoot the shit over there if there's any drama or controversy, or last night with Reese and Timmy and Jacob and Litbit. There's a bit of drama to discuss, yeah? So, guys, good day to you all. And again, from RAC FM, thank you all so much for attending, right? We love you all, guys, yeah? Take care, everyone.
It's the RAC show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We RAC will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Larry or with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC rap from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC back from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. Blast that RAC rap from the stash app. Supplying the raccoons with a headbang rap. RAC gang with the RAC will slang like a trash can. Hoodie with fangs and a gold chain. It's either RAC will or the red pill. Best chill while we get into the first meal. Best feel, best devs with the best skill. No shill, all real, secret is a great deal. RAC will insane, Shane better stand fast. Robo shooting his tweets with straight facts. Knowledge from the street, with the best plan yet. Winston, gotta eat if you retweet that. Free of a live feed from the base camp. McKenna always ready if you dare that. Buying all raccoons for his rare stash. Trash panda biker gang, motherfucking hashtag. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC lab from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC back from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack.
TerraSpaces.